Hey, you guys, welcome in. My name is Lindsay, and welcome to Lindsay Speaks. I always feel a little funny saying that out loud because it's literally just me sitting here in my hoodie with my coffee that I reheated like 3 times today because, I keep forgetting about it. Laughs, and it's cold again now, actually. Story of my life. Sorry, let me get back to what I was saying. I just want you to feel like you're here with me, hanging out, because if this message found you, it means something has happened around you. Something shifted for you. And I don't mean like a little, oh, I'll drink water instead of soda today type of shift. I mean a big one. Like within the last 3 or 4 days, give or take, you've gone through something in your energy that feels really powerful and maybe even a little unexpected. It's like, I don't know, it's like when you're walking through your house in the dark and suddenly the hallway light flickers on and you didn't even realize you were stumbling around before. That's what it feels like happened inside of you. And what's wild is it's not just one of those passing thoughts like, oh yeah, maybe I'll change. No, this feels like you claim some sovereignty for yourself. Like you finally gave yourself permission to feel something that you'd been withholding. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's just that deeper sense of, I get to live my life how I want to. And I know for me, even just this morning, I caught myself laughing because I was putting peanut butter on toast, super ordinary moment. And all of a sudden, I had this wave of like, wait a second, I'm actually free. I don't have to keep explaining myself or apologizing for existing. Laughs again. And I almost dropped the toast on the floor. Typical me. But that's how these realizations sneak up. They don't always come in lightning bolts. Sometimes they come in butter knives and kitchen counters. They come in those moments when your brain finally catches up to what your soul has been whispering, and you're like, dang, I didn't even know I needed to hear that today. And listen, I get the sense that you've been waking up lately, maybe every morning, and just thinking, holy crap, I went through a transformation overnight. It's that feeling of being half in awe, half in confusion. Like, is this real? Did something actually change? And the answer is yes, it did. But here's the tricky part. When you're going through constant transformation, you don't see it happening in real time. It's like when you're driving a car across the country, the scenery keeps shifting, trees, mountains, little towns, but you're so focused on the road that you forget how far you've come. It's only when you pull over at a gas station, stretch your legs, and look back at the miles you drove that you're like, oh my gosh, I've been moving this whole time. That's the space you're in now. You've been moving, shifting, surrendering, but it's catching up to your mind in these quiet ways. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it feels weird. Like, do you ever just stand in front of the mirror and tilt your head and go, who even am I right now? I did that last night. Laughs awkwardly. Sorry, I just remembered I had toothpaste on my shirt at the same time, so it wasn't as profound as I wanted it to be. But still, it's those little poses that show you the growth. And the thing about surrender, it doesn't mean you've given up. People think surrender is about quitting, but it's not. It's about putting down the constant, exhausting battles in your head. You know, the self-criticism, the I'm not there yet, I'm not good enough, I'm behind schedule, thoughts. And when you put those down, even for a second, suddenly life feels lighter. So in these last few days, I feel like something in you clicked. Like your spirit just whispered, you're exactly where you need to be. Maybe you're not at the finish line, maybe you're not even sure what the finish line looks like, but you're not lost either. You're right where the map wanted you to be all along. And I'm telling you, that little click inside of you, that's huge. It's like when you've been fiddling with a puzzle piece for hours, trying to jam it into the wrong spot, and then finally it slides in smooth and perfect. You sit back and laugh because you were sweating over it for no reason. That's what your energy feels like right now. Like the piece finally clicked. And now the bigger picture is starting to form. And I'll be real with you, sometimes those clicks come with resistance. Like yesterday, my dog kept barking at literally nothing, or maybe he saw a ghost, who even knows, but it was driving me crazy. And I realized in that moment I could either fight with the barking, which I can't control, or I could laugh and just keep stirring my tea. That's what surrender looks like in real life. You stop fighting the noise and just exist in your own freedom anyway. So yeah, if this message found you, it's because you've just stepped into that shift. You're not the same person you were last week. You might not even recognize the person you were last month. And it's okay to feel a little disoriented by that. You're catching up with yourself. You're stretching out in your own new skin. And every day you wake up now, it's going to feel a little different, a little lighter, a little freer. Some days you'll doubt it. Some days you'll laugh at yourself for even thinking it. And some days you'll wake up and just know this is the silence before your wish arrives, the stillness before the next wave of transformation, the breath you take before life hands you the next big thing. And right here in this space is where surrender comes in. Not the kind of surrender where you throw your hands up like, okay, I quit, but The kind where you finally unclench your fists, you stop wrestling yourself in your own head. You know what I mean? That exhausting back and forth, where you keep arguing with yourself about where you should be, what you should have, who you should become. It's like being your own personal boxing opponent. And I don't know about you, but I got tired of throwing punches at myself. The shift that just happened in you, it's liberation. You're no longer saying, I have to be over there by now. Instead, you're like, all right, maybe I'm not where I thought I would be, but I'm exactly where I need to be. Do you realize how powerful that is? It's like stepping off a treadmill that was going nowhere and finally walking on solid ground. And honestly, I laugh sometimes because surrender feels like the simplest thing, but it's also the hardest. It's like when I'm trying to untangle my headphones. Yes, I still have wired headphones, don't judge me. And I'm pulling and tugging and getting frustrated. And then the second I stop, breathe, and loosen my grip, the knot practically unties itself. That's surrender. You've probably been in cycles before. Self-criticism, comparison, the endless checklist of I should be here by now. Maybe it was about relationships, maybe career, maybe even just how you carry yourself every day. And those thoughts, they loop like a bad song stuck in your head. But now something in your energy has flipped. You've decided, I don't have to bully myself anymore. I can trust the timing, and I swear when you said that, maybe not even out loud, but in your spirit, you unlocked a door you didn't even know was there. And here's the fun part. Surrender doesn't mean you stop caring or stop trying. It just means you stop micromanaging life. You stop waking up every morning with that voice saying, if I don't control every single detail, it'll all fall apart. Because truth is, it never really depended on your control in the first place. I know that's annoying to hear. I used to roll my eyes at that too. But think about it. How many times in your life have things worked out better when you weren't obsessing? Like when you sent a text you were scared to send, forgot about it, and then got the exact response you wanted hours later. Or when you finally stopped refreshing the job listings and an opportunity landed in your lap. That's the kind of magic surrender makes room for. I think of it like surfing. Yeah, I don't surf, but go with me here. You can't control the waves. You can only ride them. If you're out there trying to yell at the ocean, hey, send me a smaller wave, please, you'll drown from exhaustion. But if you surrender, if you let the ocean carry you, you realize it was never about fighting. It was about balance, trust, timing. And lately, I feel like you've been called to live more authentically, to just do the thing, say the thing, be the thing, without needing it to be perfect. Maybe you spoke up when your voice was shaking. Maybe you posted that picture or that thought that the old you would have kept hidden. Maybe you admitted to yourself what you really want instead of pretending you don't. And isn't it funny how freeing it feels, like ripping off tight shoes after walking all day? You didn't realize how cramped you were until you stretched your toes. Now, you're stubborn in the best way. You're saying, I refuse to live small. I refuse to pretend I don't want what I want. That stubbornness, it's sacred. It's the part of you that refuses to shrink anymore. And once you've tasted that kind of authenticity, there's no going back. It's like switching from black and white TV to color. You can't unsee it. So if you're wondering why you've been feeling this stubborn streak, why suddenly you're saying no to things you would have tolerated before, that's the power of surrender. Because surrender clears the mental clutter. It takes away the excuses. It leaves you face to face with your truth. And yeah, sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it feels like you're standing naked in the middle of the room and everyone can see the real you. But it's also exhilarating because the real you, the one who isn't fighting anymore, that's the version who can finally step into what's coming next. And this is exactly why the silence before your wish arrives feels so sacred. It's not empty. It's not boring. It's the sound of you finally trusting yourself enough to stop wrestling, to stop controlling, and to just live in your truth. And once you start living from there, the universe has no choice but to meet you with more of it. And that's where this fire inside you starts to make sense. It's not desperation. It's not that frantic clawing energy of, I need this now or I'll break. No, this is a steady fire, one that's been in your gut for a long time. You know the kind, it flickers when you're daydreaming, it warms you when you're planning something exciting, it whispers when you're quiet at night. And even though it's gone dim before, even though you've had moments where you thought maybe it went out completely, you always manage to throw a little kindling on it, a little hope here, a little effort there. And recently, man, it feels like someone came by with a whole jerry can of gasoline and just whoosh, poured it straight into that flame. Laughs. Suddenly, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I just pictured myself trying to barbecue last week. And the flames nearly singed my eyebrows off because I got a little too confident with lighter fluid. Sorry, I had to stop for a second. But you get the point. It lit up from the inside out. That fire of yours, it roared back to life. And here's the thing, it didn't just light you up, it opened your eyes. Suddenly, your energy expanded so wide, you're seeing things you didn't even notice before. It's like when you finally clean your glasses after smudging them for days, you're like, wow, the world was always this sharp. That's your mindset right now. You feel like there are more opportunities, more abundance, more love, more connections, more everything out there than you realize. And you're realizing something big. You don't have to settle. You don't have to sit politely at a table that was never meant for you. You can get up, walk out, and build your own damn table. That's the shift. You're not waiting for the pre-paved path, you're carving one for yourself. And let me tell you, that is not small energy. That's rebirth. That's expansion. That's you stepping into a higher level of yourself than you've ever allowed before. I keep thinking about this like a forest fire. Stay with me here, because people always see fire as destructive, but do you know what happens after a wildfire? The soil becomes more fertile. New growth springs up where the old was burned away. It's terrifying in the moment, but it clears space for something richer. That's the fire in you. It's burning away the dead wood, the outdated beliefs, the places you used to settle. And now, you're fertile ground for a brand new chapter. But here's the funny thing. This fire isn't loud. It's not you screaming, "Look at me, I'm ready for everything." It's quieter than that. It's steady. It's in the way you sit a little taller without even realizing it. It's in the way you answer texts differently, or the way you look in the mirror and smile at yourself like, yeah, I can do this. It's subtle, but it's undeniable. And what's wild is the fire makes you think bigger again. Like, have you caught yourself recently daydreaming about something that used to feel too big, too impossible? Maybe a move, a project, a relationship, something you tucked away because it scared you. Now it's back. And it doesn't scare you the same way anymore. It excites you. That's the gasoline moment. That's the expansion. Honestly, I think of it like standing at the edge of a cliff. Old you would have backed away like, nope, too dangerous. New you walks right up, takes a deep breath and thinks, wow, what a view. That's the difference. You're not afraid of the edge anymore. You're aware of the risks, sure, but you're also aware of the possibilities. And I know some of you are thinking, but Lindsay, I don't feel that fire every day. Some mornings I wake up tired, confused, not lit up at all. And that's okay. Fire doesn't rot 24/7. Sometimes it's embers, but here's the secret. Embers are still fire. Even when it's quiet, it's still burning. And with one spark, it'll flare again. So don't mistake quiet for gone. I'll be real with you too. I had one of those mornings this week. I sat at my desk, staring at my to-do list, feeling like nothing inside me wanted to move. I started spiraling a little, thinking, ugh, maybe I lost it. Maybe that spark from last week was just a fluke, but then, out of nowhere, I felt this tiny nudge. I grabbed my notebook, scribbled one messy sentence, and boom, the fire was back. It reminded me, it doesn't take much to reignite. So if you're listening and you're wondering, do I still have it? The answer is yes, the fire never left. You've just learned how to tend it better now. You've learned not to smother it with doubt or starve it with fear. You've realized it's part of you. And because of that, you're entering a season where you're going to start acting from that fire more than ever before. You'll take risks that old you would have avoided. You'll open doors you used to walk past. You'll say yes to things that scare you and no to things that drain you. And every single time that fire will grow steadier, stronger. This is not the version of you that waits for permission. This is not the version of you that tiptoes around. This is the version of you that says, I am here, I am lit, and I am ready to create my own way. And once that flame is burning, the path you're walking starts to look different. This rebirth is pushing you to want more for yourself. And it's almost impossible to ignore. It's like deja vu, like last year's cycle, like something familiar. But now you're not the same. You're on a completely different level, and honestly, you're a completely different person. If you've been here before, you can feel the upgrade. If this is new to you, it feels like your first initiation into expansion, like being handed the keys to a door you didn't even know was locked before. But here's the thing about this path. It's brave, but it can also feel lonely. I don't mean lonely like you have no one around you. You could have friends, family, co-workers, noise everywhere. But your mind is expanding faster than theirs, and that creates this invisible gap. It makes you feel different, like you're seeing life in color while everyone else is still tuned into black and white. And how do you explain that? You don't, not always. Sometimes you just carry it quietly, and that can feel isolating. And maybe that's been your survival skill, hiding certain parts of yourself. You've become so good at tucking away the pieces of you that feel too big, too bright, too honest for the people around you. Because let's be real, not everyone is meant to hold the full version of you. Some people only ever wanted the version of you that was digestible, convenient, predictable. And you gave them that for a while. But lately, you're realizing you can't keep walking this path half fulfilled. It's like trying to live with one lung. You can do it, but you'll always feel short of breath. I'll be honest, I felt this too. Just the other day, I was at a family dinner and everyone was talking about weather, bills, and the latest sale at Target, and I caught myself zoning out thinking about purpose, energy, and freedom. I laughed in my head because if I had spoken out loud, they probably would have looked at me like I had two heads. Sorry, I just pictured it and had to chuckle, but that's the thing. You start to realize not everyone can meet you where you are, and that's okay. Because while your current reality might not be full of people who truly see you, you are attracting your soul family. You know, those people who make you feel like you can exhale around them, people who don't just nod politely when you speak, but actually get you. Sometimes you meet them in unexpected places, a random conversation online, a stranger at the coffee shop, even moments like this, you and me talking here. That's soul family energy. And you know when it hits because it feels like home. But until that tribe fully forms in your physical life, this stage can feel isolating. You look around and wonder, am I the only one thinking like this? Am I the only one craving more? And that's when the brave part kicks in. Because being different requires courage. Asking yourself, who do I want to be? Requires honesty. And choosing not to shrink back down to fit other people's comfort zones. That's the bravest thing you'll ever do. And yes, it comes with tough nights. Nights where you feel like maybe it would just be easier to play small again, to blend in, to keep the parts of yourself hidden. But you know you can't go back now. You've outgrown that version of yourself. It's like trying to squeeze into shoes 2 sizes too small. Sure, you can get them on, but you'll limp with blisters. You weren't made to limp anymore. You were made to run. This lonely but brave path is where you take inventory. You look around your life and ask the uncomfortable questions. Who am I keeping close out of habit, not alignment? What rooms am I still standing in, even though I've outgrown the conversations? What masks am I still wearing because I'm afraid of being misunderstood? Those questions sting. They really do. But they also free you. Because the more honest you are, the clearer it gets. You don't want to live at 80% anymore. You don't want to keep parts of yourself tucked away for safety. You're craving 100% fullness. And maybe deep down, that's what this silence before your wish arrives is all about. It's giving you the space to hear yourself without the noise, to realize that even if it feels lonely right now, it's only because you're ahead of the curve. You're walking into a version of your life that requires courage, authenticity, and trust. And while not everyone can walk with you, the ones who can, they'll show up at the right time. And until then, this is your brave path. This is you saying, I'd rather walk alone in truth than stay surrounded in lies. And that choice, as isolating as it feels sometimes, is what sets the stage for the wish you've been waiting for Tona, to finally have space to land. And here's where it gets even more beautiful. You want more? Of course you do, but now you're starting to realize something deeper. Life is going to carry you where you need to go anyway. You don't have to keep hauling the weight of the world on your back like some cosmic backpack. You don't have to be Atlas, holding up the whole sky. It's funny because so many of us walk around acting like if we don't push, if we don't hustle, if we don't control every single variable, everything will collapse. And maybe you've lived that way for years, always paddling against the current, always trying to swim faster, harder. But the truth is, you don't need to. Like a river, life carries you forward whether you fight it or not. And lately, I feel like you've had this quiet realization. Wait, I don't have to keep swimming until my arms give out. I can float. I can let the current do what it's been trying to do all along. And when you float, you don't drown. That's the wildest part. You float and you realize the river knows exactly where to take you. And okay, laughs softly. This is so random, but I actually thought about this while doing laundry the other day. I was trying to carry all the clothes in one trip, piled up to my chin, socks falling everywhere, my dog barking like I was under attack. And I almost tripped over myself. And I just stopped in the hallway and thought, why am I making this harder than it needs to be? I could have taken 2 trips. That's life, isn't it? We make it heavier when the universe was already offering us an easier way. And I know you, because you're like me. You've always been hardworking. You've always shown up. You've always found a way to evolve, no matter what chaos was thrown at you. Even when you felt exhausted, you kept moving. Even when you didn't know what was next, you kept showing up. That's who you are. But here's the shift. You're realizing you don't need to keep proving yourself in order to deserve joy. You don't need to keep saying, once I reach this milestone, then I'll finally allow myself to rest or celebrate or feel good. Because humans, we're funny like that. We're always chasing the next thing, the next job, the next relationship, the next goal, the next version of ourselves. It's like standing on a treadmill set to infinity speed. You never really get anywhere. You just keep running. But the truth that's dawning on you is this. The next thing always shows up anyway. It always has. Look back. Really think about it. How many times did you feel lost, directionless, like you didn't know what was going to happen next? And then somehow, some way, the next thing appeared. The right person, the right opportunity, the right door cracked open at exactly the right time. It's almost laughable when you reflect on it, right? Chuckles and shakes head. Because when you look back, you see the nudges, the synchronicities, the little alignments that guided you, even when you thought you were stumbling blindly. That job you only applied to as a joke, but it changed your life. That random conversation in line at the grocery store that gave you the clarity you'd been praying for. That coincidence that wasn't really a coincidence at all. And I think you're starting to realize now that you've never really been without guidance, even when you thought you were alone, even when you felt like the current had left you stranded. Something has always been steering you back, nudging you, dropping breadcrumbs for you to follow. And when you trust that, when you really let yourself believe that life knows how to carry you, that's when everything changes. Because suddenly the pressure comes off. You don't have to wake up every day thinking you have to fix your whole life in one morning. You don't have to keep grinding until you collapse. You don't have to earn your right to joy. You already have it. And life has been carrying you this whole time, even when you were flailing, even when you thought you were sinking. So now you're starting to soften, to let yourself float, to trust that the river has always known the way, even when you didn't. And that trust, that surrender, that's what's making space for your wish to arrive. Because for the first time, you're not blocking it with resistance. You're not demanding it on your timeline. You're simply floating, wide-eyed, watching where the current will take you next. And that's freedom. But here's the thing about freedom. It doesn't silence the calling inside you. If anything, it makes it louder. Inside, you've always known you were meant for more. You've felt it since you were a kid, probably. That restless pull in your chest, that feeling like there's something out there with your name written on it. And sometimes, let's be real, that calling feels heavy, like a weight on your shoulders that you can't put down. There are days when it almost feels unfair, right? You look at people who seem content with simple routines, who don't wrestle with this hunger for more, and you think, why can't I just be satisfied with what is? You may even whisper to yourself, I wish I didn't dream so big. Because dreams like yours, they don't let you sleep peacefully. They tap you on the shoulder at midnight. They invade your thoughts in the shower. They linger in the silence after a long day. That desire for growth, for expansion, it never leaves you alone. And yet here's the shift. You're beginning to realize that you don't have to wait for the finish line to feel fulfilled. You don't have to keep saying, once I get there, then I'll be happy. The key is understanding you can enjoy freedom and fulfillment now, right here, in this messy, in progress, not yet perfect moment. And I know that sounds easier said than done. I literally caught myself just yesterday staring at my planner thinking, okay, once I finish this project, then I'll breathe. And then I laughed out loud because haven't I been saying that for years? Sorry, I had to stop there for a second because it hit me how ridiculous that sounded. Laughed softly. But that's the trap, isn't it? Waiting for permission. Waiting for some external green light before we allow ourselves to live fully. And that's exactly what you're breaking out of right now. You're realizing that the transformations you've already made matter, the steps you've already taken, the growth you've already claimed, it all counts, it all deserves to be honored. And I feel like the universe has been nudging you gently over and over with little whispers. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to trust. It's okay to feel safe in your desires. You don't have to bulldoze through life to prove you're worthy. You don't have to constantly be on to earn the things you dream of. And maybe you're noticing that whenever you do slow down, even just for a moment, magic happens. The text arrives, the idea drops in, the path clears. This season you're in right now, it's about freeing yourself from the prison of your mind. Because let's be honest, most of the time the loudest enemy isn't outside of you. It's the voice in your own head. The one that says you're not ready yet. The one that says you need to do more first. The one that says your dreams are too much, too impossible. And you're finally starting to realize that voice was never the truth. It was fear dressed up as logic. And what's amazing is the moment you catch that, you get to choose differently. You get to lean back instead of lean forward. You get to breathe instead of force. You get to believe that the calling isn't here to torture you, it's here to guide you. Yes, it feels relentless. Yes, sometimes it feels heavy, but it's also proof that you're alive, that you're aligned with something bigger than yourself, that you're not here to settle. So, no, you don't have to silence the calling. You don't have to push it away or wish it gone. You just have to shift your relationship with it. Instead of treating it like a burden, you start treating it like a compass, a steady reminder that even though you may not have the map, you're always being guided. And from there, you start to act. And this is where true sovereignty kicks in, because I feel like right now you're moving in this fiery energy of, screw it, I'll just do it. You know what I mean? You're impulsively stepping into freedom almost without thinking. And it's not reckless, it's liberation. It's that moment where you finally post the thing you've been afraid to post, say the truth you've been biting your tongue on, or take a leap that the old you would have overanalyzed to death. And when you do it, it feels electric. That's sovereignty. See, freedom isn't about waiting for all your external conditions to line up. It's not about the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect number in your bank account, because if that were true, you'd be waiting forever. Real freedom is cultivated within your mind first. It's the shift where you say, I don't need permission anymore. I don't need guarantees. I choose to be free now. And once you free yourself internally, guess what? Your environment has no choice but to mirror it back to you. And that's the breakthrough. That's the moment where you realize you're not waiting for a new life anymore. You've already shifted into it. You don't have to sit around saying, one day I'll be free. No, you're already there because you claimed it in your mind first. And that's where all change begins. It's funny, I had this exact moment the other day when I was staring at my closet. Half my clothes don't even feel like me anymore. They're old stories hanging on hangers. And I laughed because I realized, why am I holding on to clothes that don't fit who I am now? Sorry, I'm going off a bit, but that's how it works. Those old versions, those old fears, those old stories, they don't resonate anymore. You've outgrown them like outgrown jeans. And when you try to squeeze back into them, it feels suffocating. So the real work now, it's not about creating freedom, it's about remembering it. It's reminding yourself over and over that freedom is your new reality. Because let's be honest, the old fears will try to creep back in. The voice will whisper, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure you're ready? Maybe you should wait a little longer. But that voice isn't truth anymore. It's just an echo from the past, and you've already walked out of that room. ChatGPT said, this is the season of sovereignty, of impulsively saying yes when your heart nudges you, of unapologetically moving even if no one else understands, of choosing your freedom first and trusting that everything else will adjust around it. And every time you act from that place, you're not only breaking old patterns, you're proving to yourself that the new life isn't something you're waiting for. It's already here. And that brings us into this final piece, the silence before it arrives. Can you feel it? This energy right now, it's potent, fiery, undeniable. It's like standing in the eye of a storm, but instead of chaos, it's calm, charged calm. In just the last few days, you've taken your power back from something that was draining you. Maybe it was a person, maybe it was an old belief, maybe it was even your own patterns, but you stood up inside yourself and said, I'm done. I deserve more. And the second you did, you detached from desperation. You stopped clawing, and instead you settled into peace. And here's the thing about that peace. It doesn't mean you don't want the wish anymore. It means you trust it enough to stop strangling it. You finally leaned into that knowing. My reflection will arrive in time. What I've been waiting for, working for, wishing for, it's not running away from me. It's on its way. And this silence, this pause, it's proof. You've already shifted. You've already changed. Your new life has already begun. You're not waiting for permission slips from the universe anymore. You already signed your own. And so the silence before it arrives isn't empty. It's sacred. It's the inhale before the exhale, the pause before the curtain rises, the stillness before the orchestra plays its first note. It's not absence, it's presence in its purest form. And deep down, you can feel it in your bones. You don't even need the evidence yet. You wake up in the morning and something in you whispers, my life is changing. And instead of arguing with it, you nod. You trust it, you believe it. And that trust, that's the most magnetic energy you can carry, because desperation repels, but peace attracts. And that's where you are now, not chasing, not begging, not bargaining, but standing fully in the knowing that you are free. And freedom, that's the loudest signal you can send out into the universe. So here you are in this silence before your wish arrives. And instead of panicking in the pause, you're resting in it, you're savoring it, because you know this stillness is the sign. You're no longer asking if it's coming, you're preparing for it. You're living like it's already here. And that shift, that quiet sovereign trust, that's the most powerful energy you could ever hold. So as we wrap this up, let me just say this. What you're feeling right now, this silence before your wish arrives, it isn't empty. It's the sacred pause, the proof that you've already shifted. You've taken your power back. You've claimed your freedom. And now it's just about trusting the timing. So breathe, stay open, and let life carry you forward. If this message resonated, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this reminder too. And drop a comment. I love hearing your stories. Until next time, keep trusting the silence. Your wish is already on its way.